Okay, we're live as I'm already breaking and tipping things over and spilling things. But welcome to Happy Hour at Home. We're back after I guess, 3-week hiatus. Life just got busy and homegirl needed a vacation. So that's what she did. She took off to Seattle to see fam and spend mom's 83rd birthday with her. So that was a good time. Saw 3 Little League games. I'm telling you, those Little Leaguers, they come up fast. They come up fast. But today we are going to make the Aviation cocktail. It is a classic. It is something that dates back to 1916 when it was created by a German named, if there's a different pronunciation, you'll pardon me because I didn't I wasn't able to find it. I can't find it. But his name was Huge Enslinn. Who knew Huge was a German name? Not I, and I even have a wee bit of German roots. Nothing that we usually admit to, but there it is. So the Aviation cocktail dates back to New York City, and Huge Enslinn was a bartender at a hotel, the Hotel Wallick in New York City, and he actually wrote a book. He wrote a book that offered up more than 400 cocktail recipes. It came out in 1916. It was called Recipe for Mixed Drinks, and it was actually one of the last American cocktail books that came out before Prohibition, because of course Prohibition started 1919, 1920. The book came out in 1916, and this was a very popular cocktail, and it continued to be a popular cocktail right up until Prohibition, when people stopped importing Creme de Violette, which is this liqueur, violet, floral, and it's what's going to turn our cocktail a purplish sky color. Again, it's called Aviation because it was inspired by those crazy brothers, the Wright brothers, who took off in, 1903, man's first flight. And, the whole country, the whole world was abuzz about that. But by the time 1916 rolled around, of course, there was already World War I was essentially behind us. And, we weren't just, teetering or toying with airplanes anymore. They were being used in war. So the Aviation is named not only after the Wright brothers and that fantastic thing that used to be airline travel or air travel, but the color of the sky at dusk. Okay, so it's going to be kind of a purple color. It's really going to be purple. So I decided to use the Empress 1908 gin, which, as you can see, is quite purple. And it says right on the bottle, the original indigo, all natural, handmade, small batch gin. Gin, 85% proof. And this is, it's colored with that butterfly pea flower. I don't know if you guys remember that. For Mother's Day, we made the tea that we added a little vodka to, or gin, or whatever you want to add to it. But these are the butterfly pea flowers. It's a tea, but it doesn't really give off much flavor or any really at all, which is great if you want to color a drink, alcohol or non-alcoholic, which is what they've done here with the gin. I don't know, it's so expensive though. Maybe because, these are hand-picked flowers or something like that. But that's what it is. It was, again, the book, Recipes for Mixed Drinks, in 1916. I should try to get my hands on a copy of that. But it was, really one of the last books that came out for American cocktails before Prohibition. And this liqueur, the Creme de Violette, was, it disappeared from store shelves. It disappeared until 2007. And another guy with a German sounding name started to import it was he a Minneapolis? I don't know. I think he was a Minneapolis importer. He started to import it. And if you can't find this Creme de Violette, because I think this is it, Rothman and Winter floral liqueur, product of Austria, it started to come in. And, the resurgence was born really not till 2007, from 1916 to 2007, when we had a craft cocktail reborn, rebirth, resurgence, whatever you want to call it. But, shortly after Prohibition, or somewhat before, the Savoy cocktail book came out, right, from Harry Craddock, the Savoy Hotel in London. They didn't deal with Prohibition, but it came out in 1930. And for whatever reason, maybe he didn't like it, but he did not include Creme de Violette in the recipe or, in the book or in the cocktail. So we are going to do it two ways. We are going to actually make it both times with Creme de Violette, but one time I'm going to use the Revis dry gin clear, so you can get kind of a better picture of what it looks like. And then the other time I'm going to use the Empress gin. Let's do that first, because I think that's what kind of hooked a lot of people. The color, I mean, it's a beautiful cocktail, naturally colored, no red dye number, whatever. And, pardon me, but I am going to shake it. That's what the recipe calls for. So that's what we're going to do. Here, I'll wait to. Yep. I just broke one. Dang it. Well, okay. There is such a thing as live here. Oh, error occurred. Let me see. Go live. Oh, okay. I am live. I don't know. I was getting a text there, but I couldn't answer it. There was a hiccup on the broadcast, but let me see. I don't know why that happened. But anyway, just broke a glass. Sorry if you missed it. I was going to make two cocktails, but now I don't have the barware ready. Actually, I can make it happen. I was going to make one cocktail with the Creme de Violette, both of them actually with the Creme de Violette, but one with the Empress 1908 gin, which is purple. It's indigo in color, thanks to the butterfly pea flower. The other one I'm going to make with Revis gin. It is a Spanish style gin that my friends here at Infinium Spirits in San Diego gave me. And the other ingredient is the Luxardo, maraschino, cherry liqueur, which adds that bittersweet, tart flavor. And then, of course, some fresh lemon juice that I've already got. And we'll top it with a maraschino cherry. It calls for either, maraschino or like a brandied cherry. So here we go. If I, there's always a mess to clean up after I'm done in the kitchen, sadly. And it's all me. So I don't know. I wonder if I should start over. I don't know. Let me see. One of our friends here texted me. Maybe he texted me to let me know that nothing was actually on the air. Yeah, he was. So I'm on the air. We were having some technical difficulties with the platform, don't you know? But today we're making the Aviation. In 1903, the Wright brothers took off from that little Ohio airport in, what was it, a wood and gasoline powered plane. And man took flight for a total of, 12 seconds and I don't know, 12 minutes maybe? 12 minutes? And no, it was 12 seconds in 1903. It wasn't long, but it was enough to have us, take flight. And by the time that this recipe was created by a German by the name, pardon me if it's not pronounced correctly, but my German is not existent. But his name was Huge Enslinn. Make of that what you will. Huge created this cocktail when he was working at a hotel called New York City's Hotel Wallick, and he created it and put it out in a book called Recipes for Mixed Drinks that came out in 1916. So here's the trajectory. 1903, the Wilbur Wright brothers, Wilbur and Orville Wright, took off. 1916, Huge creates this recipe for the Aviation, inspired by man's ability to fly. And then Prohibition hit, 1919, 1920. And Creme de Violette, that disappeared off of store shelves. And it wasn't until 2007 that I think another German or Austrian importer decided to bring it back. And in 2007 was really kind of right around the craft cocktail renaissance, if you will. So we're making the Aviation today. Apologies for the technical difficulties. It's a simple cocktail, which we love simple cocktails. But if you want it super, super purple, you're only going to get that with Empress Gin, Empress 1908, which uses the butterfly pea flower. And that's what we used in the non-alcoholic and the alcoholic little drink that we got for Mother's Day. It's really a tea. You're only going to find it probably at specialty tea stores or online. This thing cost me $12, but so did a large package of it online. You can probably guess where. So here's the deal. We're going to try to make two cocktails for you. And the first one is going to be shaken. I'm going to make it with the Empress Gin because I want it to be super bright in color, like we see in the picture that was posted. And then the second one we'll make with the Revis Gin. So you can kind of see it was meant to look like the sky at dusk. Pardon me if I'm repeating myself. I've already done this show, like, when it wasn't live, apparently. So we're going to go with 1.5 ounces of gin. Okay. Woo! It's so pretty, and it really is indigo. I love it. And again, the butterfly pea flower won't impart any real strong taste, which is good because the Creme de Violette, that has quite a floral taste, as does many gins, including this one, and probably this one too. Super dry, made with botanicals. That's what it is. Okay, and so we want the to impart a little tartness. We're going to use 1/2 of an ounce of maraschino. Again, I don't know. This only, it does come out a little faster than I recall. Okay, so we'll do that. Not usually my favorite liqueur because cherry, anything except for real cherries, kind of reminds me of medicine that we had to take as a kid. Then I want the Creme de Violette, and this will be floral. I mean, we're adding things to add the sweetness and the floral, but we don't want it like a sugar bomb. We don't want that, not in the least. Okay, so this says, let's see, 1 bar spoon of Creme de Violette. That's from the International Bartenders Association recipe. But this recipe that we're going to use here calls for, I think it's like another half of Creme de Violette. And this, it is pretty purple, actually. This, I think the Empress Gin is a little more blue versus purple. But there it goes. And then we're going to put in our fresh squeezed lemon juice. And the other thing I wanted to add, you guys, is I got a bunch of these. I need to get the lime ones too, but like the freeze-dried or the dried citrus. Oh my God. Even if you have somebody that's just a tea drinker, these things smell amazing and they are cool garnishes in my ever so humble opinion. So I may use that in one of them. Okay, so all we have left to do is the lemon juice. Let's see, how much lemon juice? 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. Okay, I'm gonna try not to spill this everywhere, but you know me. Okay, and I've only had 2 of these in my life. Joe Maddon's restaurant, the Ava, in Tampa, in Soho, Tampa. And it was delicious. That was the very first one I ever had. Congrats, Joe. That was amazing. Sorry you lost your job this week or last week with the Angels. Okay. Normally we don't shake gin, but we're doing it because that's what the recipe says. So maybe with the next one, I won't shake it. I will see what happens. We'll see if it changes the flavor. Okay, let me transfer the ice. I want to reuse the ice, but we were chilling the glass because nobody wants a warm cocktail or in a fresh out of the dishwasher glass, which I hate that when they do that at restaurants. But this way we have control over the cocktail. Okay. Oh, see, that's pretty. It's still not as purple as the one in the picture that I showed you, but that is pretty. That was clearly a picture that was, Photoshop, shall we say. Okay, let's put a cherry on there. Cherry on top. And, oh yeah, got so much stuff up here. I love these bamboo knot picks. They're just fancier. And I like to do it fancy, don't you know? Okay, but for the next one, I am going to just use the regular gin. Whoops. Okay. Whoa. Okay. I knew that was going to happen. That's not going to stay up there. Here we go. Cheers to Friday and happy hour at home. Let's see how this goes. That's delicious. That's good. Dare I say, as good as Joe Maddon's. Yeah, that's good. Some people, the aficionados, say they want you to back off on the Creme de Violette, but I think this is a great recipe. But what do I know? let's try it again and see what happens when we make it just with the clear gin. It won't be quite as purple, obviously, but is what it is. Okay, so this one I'm just gonna stir. Let me see. I just want to make sure that I don't have too much water in this cocktail. Heaven forbid, from the melted ice. I don't want to impart too much water in the alcohol from whence it came. Okay, so I have my bar spoon here. I've got that. Okay, so let's start with the gin. And what was that? That was 1.5. Okay, so you go this way. And I'm going to need a glass, obviously. Let's see. I washed some martini glasses. I don't know if that one's going to be big enough, but let's say we did. Okay, for other purposes. Why do I already have a martini glass just hanging out in the sink? Wouldn't you like to know? No, okay. So here we go. There's the glass we're going to work with. We've got the gin in there. Let's put the Creme de Violette in there. And I think it was just like a half ounce of everything else, right? Yeah, easy peasy. Okay. Ooh. I don't want to spill this because, again, these things don't come cheap. I mean, it's an investment, though. It's an investment. Okay. And then the maraschino liquor. I always thought it was maraschino, but then I saw people online pronouncing it maraschino, but she would have been British or, those Brits pronouncing things super funny. And then I will go for the lemon juice, which was still a little on the frozen side, which is fine. It's fine. Okay. And with that, I'm simply going to stir it. And the interesting thing about Huge Enslinn, the guy that created this cocktail back in 1916 when he released his book, Recipes for Mixed Cocktails, sadly, he never got to see the resurgence of this drink. He never got to see it become popular again. Not that he would necessarily be alive still, but he took his own life, actually, before Prohibition ended, I think. Sad. Very sad. So that's the story. But again, if you can't find Creme de Violette or you don't want to pay that much for it, because I think this bottle was like $26 or something like that. There are other options. There's Creme de Violette. And that drink, okay, I don't want to bruise it. Don't want to bruise it. And with this one, I think I'm going to put, it's a lot. This one does actually look, I think, a little bit more like the sky, to be honest with you. So now there's going to be almost too much for my wee martini glass. To the top. And I'm going to put one of the lemons in there just because I think it's so pretty. And with the lemon juice in there, it'll be a nice little accent. Let me find one that is just the right size and not split in half. Because it must look good, right? Has to look good. Wish we had smell-o-vision because that is something. Oh, see, that looks really pretty, though. Let's show you. See, so you can compare and contrast, shall we? Near, far. So there you go. That one does look way more like the sky. This one is way more purple. But let's try it out. Let's taste it. See how it is. Again, some will argue that you can't make it without Creme de Violette, but not Harry Craddock. I think for some reason this one tastes a little brighter. I don't even know how else to describe that. And lighter. I don't know. They're equally delicious, though. Equally delicious. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, like I said, Creme de Violette or Creme de Violette. Maybe one of my French friends is watching and can let me know. But yeah, you're going to find the recipe online. Of course, I will repost it with my own pictures of the cocktail. And I hope you enjoy. Happy Father's Day. I hope you're doing well. We will be back next week making another cocktail. Can you believe that 4th of July it's coming up? What are we like? Wow. Just a few weeks away from the 4th of July. And I'm feeling tiki. I feel like we need to make a tiki cocktail. something, because I have some tiki glasses actually, and not my former neighbors, my neighbors, they used to have a place up in Tahoe, and they gave me these. Maybe I'll have to borrow them back from my nephew. I gave them to my nephew, but they're mugs, tiki mugs, but they have like Aloha girls. Has nothing to do with Tahoe, of course, but naked Aloha girls with skirts on. They're just awesome tiki mugs, and I think a tiki party might be in order for a little 4th of July celebration. You know, I love a good theme. So cheers. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday. And thanks for watching. Toodaloo, as my parents always say. Toodaloo.